Great ideas for back to school, and our theme continues even in our kitchen today. We have a special cook who is part of a family, a long line of educators, and Joe's lucky to be with him today.
That's right. He's actually, we're actually technically related.
Technically, yes.
We're going to leave it at that. Anyway, this is Mike McGavro, principal of Buffalo Academy School. Thanks for joining us this morning, Mike.
No problem.
We've talked about your recipes before. Today you're making fall off the bone ribs.
Yes, they are.
Now, what's this? Well, there is a secret to having the meat just fall off the bone, right?
Right. There is a secret to it.
All right. Now, what are we working with today as far as ingredients go?
Oh my gosh, we have our salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder in this bowl. We have honey. We have hot sauce. We have hot mustard, brown sugar, and orange juice.
Orange juice. I always forget that one. And that's what does the orange juice bring to the whole table here?
It adds a little sweetness and a little citrus to the mixture.
Give it a little citrus.
Yep,
All right.
absolutely.
Now, what makes it fall off the bone? You were talking about the way you cook it, right? You don't just throw them on a grill, right?
No, no. My mother and her mother, my grandmother taught me this a long time ago. You prepare them inside of a pan like this after you put the ingredients on, and what you do is you fill the bottom with water.
Okay.
Cover it, put it in the oven at 350 degrees for about an hour and a half, and it's just like steaming vegetables as opposed to boiling them, and it just makes everything so much tender.
So you probably
more tender.
Yeah, you don't need a knife, obviously.
Don't need a knife.
We're going to use our hands anyway.
When you go for a piece later, the bone's going to come right out.
Of course, you have some already made, and you know I'm just doing my best right now not to go near them. But once we get everything set, that's not too much water. You're just putting a little bit in there.
Just enough to cover the bottom so it steams. So, because if the bottom was dry, then the meat would burn.
And it'll stick and everything.
Yes.
As far as meat goes, do you have a particular butcher you like to go to?
Absolutely.
Or
Vinny Larigo from Larigo's Meeting Place on Grand Street.
Irish guy, huh?
Yeah. If you look at him, you'd know.
Now, what kind of, you just said you're using some plain old barbecue sauce?
Plain old barbecue sauce, anything. I usually don't get one that's flavored. I just original or plain barbecue sauce, and then we put all the ingredients inside of it to doctor it up.
All right, good stuff. Mike McGavro, principal of the Academy School. We're going to be back. We're going to start rubbing this meat down. That's the idea?
We're going to do it.
All right.
Yes.
Back to you, Vic.
All right, Joe, you may be related to Mike as well. Well, you know what? I have a connection as well. And during your next segment, I'm going to divulge that. I don't want to say once again, but Joe is back in the principal's office.
Yes, Joe's getting schooled in the kitchen today.
That's right. I'm with Buffalo Academy principal Mike McGavro, and you know, last time I was this close to a principal, I wasn't making ribs. Let's just put it that way.
Joe, I may have to put you in the grill.
All right, whatever you say, sir. I'm sorry. Okay, we're making fall off the bone ribs today, and
we are.
There's a recipe to this that some people don't know sometimes, right?
There is. A lot of people want to barbecue on the grill, either charcoal or gas, and they'll put the ribs on directly and cook them for an hour or whatever it is, but a lot of times it just dries them out. Right. So, like I said before, my mother, my grandmother had this, well, I don't know if it was an idea what they learned, but by putting it in the oven and steaming it with water that covers the bottom and covering it with foil, you can cook it for about an hour and a half and then throw it on the grill afterwards. The meat is tender, juicy.
It's not going to dry up. So the key to this recipe is steam. I mean, you want to create some steam. And you were saying you can even do that on the grill if you put some tin foil in it with some oil, water as well,
if you wanted to take this pan right here and cover and put some water and put it on the grill too. But the reason the stove is good is you get you don't waste as well. The propane is going to go
for hours.
Use the natural gas.
Okay, we're going to get started rubbing this meat down. But what do we have here as far as this rub goes?
I combined the ingredients here as far as the dry rub part, but that's salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and then that will go on the meat. Just that. That's it. Nothing else from these ingredients. That goes on the meat, and then the water goes in. Cover it with the foil. In the oven for an hour and a half.
And then you add all the other ingredients.
And then afterwards, we're going to add all these ingredients to our regular original barbecue sauce, and that's going to doctor up and give it that. I like a sweet and salty and hot, spicy kind of flavor.
So it's kind of a trifecta here.
It's going to have the trifecta.
All right, good stuff. Obviously, you're a master at the grill. Any other recipes? Any other recipes you want to tell us about that you're famous for in the family? Because you know you've been doing it for a while.
Well, spaghetti and meatballs is kind of thing. And the thing is, I was going to bring the spaghetti recipe or the sauce recipe, but my nephew said, if you give Nana's recipe away, I'll kill you. So we kind of. So we'll save that.
Don't do that. All right. When we get back, we're going to start getting this recipe going. Things are smelling good in here already, but they're only going to get better. Back to you guys on the couch. Kitchen with none other than a principal this week, Mike McGavro, Buffalo Academy. Thanks for joining us again.
Absolutely.
We're making fall off the bone ribs, and there's a reason why they fall off the bone. It has to do with steam, right?
It has to do with steam.
All right, let's give a quick recap of how to get these things going.
All right, I combined all. First of all, I didn't break anything yet. That's amazing.
That's my job.
Because I'm going to call it flinging it instead of winging it because I'm usually breaking it. So anyway, in this bowl I combine salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder.
Okay, this
Those
is the
are
dry
my
rub, right?
main ingredients for the dry rub part.
All right.
And then you got to get your hands in there sometime too. But
I'll do that. You go first.
We'll just sprinkle that on the top.
Oh, you're so good at that. Look at that.
And
Even.
we'll flip it over.
Both sides, right?
And we'll get both sides. A little heavy on there, but that's okay.
And these are pork ribs,
these
obviously.
These are baby back pork ribs.
Baby back pork
You can use any kind of rib that you want, but I found that beef ribs aren't as tender and tasty as the pork ribs.
Will they dry up quicker even though we're using steam, or it doesn't matter?
They take a little longer, they're bigger, and they just don't have that. It's like when you say bacon, everybody loves bacon.
Right.
Where does it come from? The pork.
When you say turkey bacon, I'm kind of like, yeah, all right.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
So anyway, you take that and put it. You want to put a little more on. That's fine. And then the key to the whole thing is make sure that you put water in enough.
Just a little water right
to cover the bottom.
And that, of course, will create a nice steam effect.
A steam effect.
When you get it in the oven
Absolutely.
or on the grill even. You can cover this with
you can
tin
cover,
foil.
you can put it in this pan, but again, if you're putting it on the grill, you have that direct heat underneath from the flame.
Right.
So you want to make sure you probably have a little more water.
A little more water. Now, does this sit for a few minutes, or I just get it going on the grill right now?
We can put it right. Well, first of all, we have to cover and put foil on it so we keep that steam in.
So if you're at home, this is ready to go.
Just like that. You don't have to do another thing to it.
Awesome. Now let's talk sauce, because this is a three-level type sauce you were saying before, right? Salty, sweet, and spicy. Is that
exactly.
Trifecta.
Exactly. So we got a little bit of each.
What are we working with here?
Well, we don't put the spices back in because it would be too salty then if we put it in the barbecue sauce.
Plus the garlic, salt, and all that.
Exactly. So what we start with is, actually the ingredients in the order doesn't matter, but honey.
Okay.
So we'll put a little honey in there. See if that gets out.
A couple of tablespoons there?
Yeah, a couple tablespoons in there. I think I said a quarter cup on each.
Okay,
so roughly.
so a quarter cup on each.
Hot sauce.
Of course.
I think it was Matt who said more hot sauce.
More hot sauce.
And then we have hot mustard. I don't like using the regular. I like a hot mustard. So put that inside there.
So you got a lot of spice going in there right now.
And then the brown sugar.
Of course.
That'll also give it that caramelization at some point too when it gets hot enough and get that in there.
This last ingredient.
Yeah, the last ingredient.
I always forget. Never think of it.
Orange juice.
OJ.
OJ.
Okay. Apple juice okay too? Can you try different juice as well? Or
actually, to back up a minute, if you don't use water, you can use some kind of pop or cola. You can use Coca-Cola, Pepsi.
I've heard about that.
You can use root beer.
Soda.
You can use soda in there.
Okay.
So that also would be a good steam effect and sweeten up the ribs a little bit too.
Why not, right?
But there you go.
Or beer.
You could use
as well.
Put beer in
Thank you, John. That's our photographer. Always chiming in, John.
At first, it looks very wet, but eventually the barbecue sauce comes through as it mixes in together.
Right, now this is that
more of a consistency.
Sweet, salty, and spicy, right?
Sweet, salty, and spicy.
Right here.
That's it.
Good stuff.
And you can use this in a lot of different things. So not only on the ribs as a finishing, you can put it on chicken.
Steak, probably, right?
You probably could.
We got two Italians in the kitchen. We can just come up with any recipe.
I don't know if I put it in my spaghetti sauce, but I
might. If I was in a pinch, I might do that.
But you might see. But as you mix this more and more together, this will be the finishing product that goes on the ribs once they come out.
Okay.
Now, the good thing about this is if you didn't want to make them right away, and you were going on a picnic or you were going somewhere, you could just put this in the refrigerator.
Like this?
Then, yeah, just like it is.
Okay.
Again, you don't have to use this big pan. You could cut the ribs in half, use a smaller pan. You can layer them on top of each other. It doesn't have to be one piece. But you could then go on a picnic or something and then put it on your charcoal grill. I'm sorry, take it out of the pan, put the barbecue sauce, and heat it right out. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be done just that day.
Speaking of ready to go, we got a little bit less than a minute. I've been waiting all day for this.
All right, let's see what we
And,
got
we're
here.
going to
Let's
pull
get
out
my hands.
Finished product.
Take the foil off first.
We'll put them right here. Look at this. All right.
Here we go, Joe. Now we'll get our knife.
Now that's what they should look like.
That's what they should look like when they're done, right?
And they're just so moist. You can tell and see the water at the bottom of the pan there. That's what Mike was talking about. That just steams them.
You like to get that little chart effect.
Oh, love that. That sounds great. And we've got a line of people. Usually the line doesn't start till after the show. They're waiting outside right now.
Off like that,
that's the effect you want right there, guys. I'm going to try a little bit of this. Coming up, we're going to have another weather report, of course. It's a beautiful day so far. We'll see what happens, and then we've got a second helping coming up as well. And welcome back to the kitchen. We've been making some fall off the bone baby back ribs. We're talking about the meat falling off the bone. It's amazing. I almost fell off the bone because I don't even know what that means.
It'll fall right off the stand.
This stuff is great. We're with Mike McGavro, principal of Buffalo Academy School. He's already chopping away here. What are we doing for a second helping?
For second helping, what we're going to do is take this, we're going to do baked beans.
Right.
So any baked beans that you get in a can is fine. Put it inside of a pan. We're going to take our sauce mixture that we made. That was going to be like the barbecue sauce and everything. We're going to pour, let's pour a little.
Pour a little bit in there.
back in there.
So that'll mix with
That'll mix well with the beans.
Oh, that's great.
And then we're just going to get our hands dirty here, and we're just going to lift up. Put that right back in.
Drop that right in. It's just like heaven.
And then we're going to mix it up a little bit
I'm
inside
cringling a little bit.
And then we're going to throw it back in at about 350 degrees. Now, you can leave it uncovered. You don't have to cover this.
Okay.
Because you want it to get a little bit of caramelization and everything on top.
Okay, not too long in the oven,
so
right?
it's not too liquidy, too. No, only about a half an hour, 45 minutes at 350.
I bet if I've got the barbecue going, I could put on a little...
You could.
And then... I can't even speak right now.
Yeah.
I could put it on the barbecue.
You know why we're full at the end of at the end of cooking? Because we taste it while we're cooking.
That's my biggest problem, and it's great
Oh, my
because
God.
if you notice, Mike cooked 3 racks. There was actually 6 here about 20 minutes ago, but see, you planned ahead because you know what we're talking about here. Well, this is just some great stuff, Mike, and we want to have you back. And I know you've got a list of recipes, so
Yes, I do.
hopefully Grandma will.
Oh, there's
let you
lots
have
of
them.
grandma and mama recipes for sure. Nana, we call it. Everything's Nana.
Nana,
so Nana
right.
has the recipes.
Very Italian. But hey,
Very good.
thank you so much,
Thank
Mike
you.
McGavro,
All right.
high school principal on Back to School Week. Back to you guys right now.